Hello, everybody. Dr. F. Scott Field here, and I'd like to introduce you to our newest sponsor. The NPTE Final Frontier is the review course that I wish was around when I took the board exam. For those of you who know my story, it took me a handful of times to pass that exam, and quite frankly, I really wish I had an exam review course around, just like the NPTE Final Frontier. Check out their website, npteff.com, and use the code HET at checkout for 10% off to all of our listeners and fans. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Healthcare Education Transformation Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. F. Scott Field. I've got a very special guest today on a very special episode. It is not the normal educational type episode. This one's going to kind of go into advocacy. However, it's going to kind of go into advocacy from the point of view of a patient. It's not often enough that we get the opportunity to interview patients about their journey and their story and how physical therapy helped them. So I have with us today a recent award winner of the Friend of Private Practice Award, Colleen Rapp. Colleen, how are you?
Hi, Scott. I'm doing really well. I'm over the moon of the event on Wednesday. I feel very honored. And like I said, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I feel like as a patient being recognized, actually the first patient to be recognized is a huge milestone. And I feel like my voice is being heard and I just feel successful, very successful.
Well,
it's just crazy.
You are. I mean, you like I said, you are such an advocate for the field of physical therapy and for the profession. And I want to just take a moment to thank you, but also, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your story and about, how physical therapy has impacted your life?
When I first, I'm a pressman, 36 years at the Denver Post, hard job. About 7 years ago was the first injury I really got hurt very badly to where I couldn't really walk. I was kind of introduced to physical therapy before, but it was like a quick, session. So I didn't really have an impact on me. So when I had gotten hurt at that point, it was a long journey for me. And I kind of realized that what I was doing and where I was going every day, what kind of impact it had on me to believe that this is where I needed to be. And my physical therapist at the time was the person that was going to help me through this journey to get better. And it wasn't just like going to a doctor and then like, do. It was like actually going somewhere where I could build a relationship with somebody that really wanted me to succeed and understand what kind of journey I was going to go through. And it just really, really opened my eyes to this physical therapy world and how important it is, and actually how important it is to me still to this day to keep the things that I learned incorporated in my life every day to be the best I can be, because it's still a journey for me. It's not 6 weeks, it's a lifetime when you have an injury to keep on going. So I've learned so much. I could probably talk to you for about like 30, 40 minutes on this subject, but I had a couple injuries after that, and I really believed in it. It gave me hope. It gave me a strive to get better. It gave me the ability to make better decisions in my life and at work. And so it kind of shaped me to be a better person in a whole. It kind of incorporated my life, and it actually, I always say it changed my life. And I don't know how else to explain it besides that. It just, it was something that just came into my life, and it just made me realize that everything that I was doing and the way I was working and the way I was living my life and everything needed to change, and to incorporate all the things that I learned and to be the best I could be. So that's kind of the sum of it.
Yeah.
It's just I'd like to tell you why it makes me feel so good. Today I was at physical therapy, and I sit after I'm getting some heat on my leg, and I watch people, and everything that I feel inside, I see in all these patients that I see just in there. And recently my mom had physical therapy and I went with her, and it was one of the best experiences for my life because what I felt about physical therapy, I could see in her and I could see the hope it gave her. And so I like to see now how it changed me. I can see in so many other people. And it just is just a bright light in my life.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on so many major points there in physical therapy that sometimes we as physical therapists take for granted, right? Like one of them is we get to spend a lot of time with our patients. It's not just like you said, a doctor's visit where you're in and out in 6 minutes and on to the next one, right? You don't see them again for a year or whatever.
Right.
Physical therapists get to see their patients anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 times a week, even sometimes 30 to 60 to 90-minute sessions. It just we get to see these people so frequently and so often, and we can have such an impact in that time spent with people that it really is building a relationship. And I think too, another major point there is, once you get that belief system instilled in you that you can do it, that you can come back from an injury, that you can have a normal life moving forward, that becomes huge in other areas of life and other aspects. It becomes like a major sticking point to where like physical therapy gets to tell the impossible to, get the hell out of here. Like we're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen, and you're the person that's going to do it. You're the conduit that's going to, utilize our services to then become whatever it is that you were or that you want to be. Right. So I think it's important that physical therapists realize, how important our impact can be on our patients. It's not just showing up 9 to 5, seeing patients, making them do exercise, and then sending them home. It's much deeper than that, and it's much more than that. And I think realizing that every patient is an individual human being with an independent story, and we may not know the story, right? But we get to be a part of it at least, and it's important to kind of tap into that a little bit and get to know what their goals are, what they want to get back to, what they love doing. Why are they even here? Why are they continuing to show up? So I think you covered a lot of major points there. And again, advocacy to me can be done in a bunch of different ways, right? You can go up to the Capitol and wear the suit and tie and shake hands and kiss babies and stuff. That's not me. That's not my way of advocating for myself, for my patients, for the profession. And I think, the cool thing about this episode is that I get to, show it to my students and say, hey, look, remember when I said advocacy could come in many different ways? Sure enough, here's another different way. So tell people a little bit about, the ways that you advocate for physical therapy and why it's so important for you to do that.
Okay, can I add one more thing about
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the most important thing I would like to tell physical therapists that are listening today is you make a difference in a person's rehab. The way that you treat them, the way your care is, the way that you represent yourself, it is actually a benefit to their outcome. And I just want to really say that because I've seen people that learn it really matters.
Yeah.
It really matters. So as I hope you all realize that because you're so important. And like you said, that 45-minute session that every time you spent with a patient, they're going through so much and they're relying so much on you. So, just remember that because it really, really matters.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
They're coming to us at a very vulnerable point in their life, right? They're injured. They're not sure what's going to happen. Like healthcare is a mess right now. Like, I don't know, is this even going to work? So it's super important for us to use an SAT word, but to build that therapeutic alliance, right? That we hear about so much in healthcare. And all that means is getting the patient to buy in and believe in what we're trying to accomplish with them, and that we can be the answer to that. We can be the solution to get them across their finish line and meet their goals. So like you said, being there, being present, bedside manner, all of that stuff helps with patient buy-in. It helps with building their belief system that you care about them and want them to succeed.
even education. I mean, like
Hmm.
when I was first heard, I didn't know what I had. And so, I mean, that's a big part of it too, is because you hit on the most important thing is you're scared, you don't know what's happening to you, you're going to something, you don't know if you're going to have what the outcome is going to be. So I think it's in total just the whole support. I always say it's the most important thing between point of injury and health, and that's the way that every physical therapist needs to look at it, because that's the truest statement I can tell you today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as far as to move on about advocacy, I think in life, I think about heroes. You see heroes, all this stuff. And when something changes your life, I think that it's just a true love for that, you know?
Yep.
It's just, I really, 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 when I say I believe, I believe that physical therapy can change lives. I believe that it matters. I believe that physical therapists need to be recognized. I think that it's just important because it is somebody's total rehab. If you think about it, and I don't think we ever talk about it, is you go to a doctor, you go to a physical therapist. You spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, up to a year sometimes with a physical therapist. It matters. It's a difference between sometimes a person walking, a person being 100%, or it's kind of like I always say this, Scott, and this is why I have such the advocacy I have in a kind of a weird way, is I look at myself and I can look at myself on a TV screen, kind of looking at a screen, and I look on the left side and I see myself at 65, 68, and I'm in a bed with oxygen. I'm not moving around too much. On the other side of the screen, I see myself at 68 walking in the park, playing with my dog, living life because I did the things that I needed to do. And that is what physical therapy teaches you. If you can incorporate the things that they teach you in your life, I mean, it's one of the best things that happens to somebody. So that's my advocacy,
Yeah.
because I've lived it, I've seen it, and I believe in it.
Well, we certainly do appreciate you shouting it from the rooftops and taking to Twitter and sharing your experiences and shouting people out. And I mean, like I said, you've just done amazing things, which is why you're so well deserving of the Friend of Private Practice Award. So thank you for all that you do. One of the requests from a lot of people already who could not be at the conference was they wanted to hear your award speech or acceptance speech. And we figured what better way to do that than to have you read it, on the platform, and we will share it out all over social media for those that want to hear it. It's a shame we weren't able to record the whole thing while we were there, but we were all just so engulfed in the moment and so happy to be there and celebrate with you that I think we just kind of, took a few pictures and then sat back to really take in the message and what you had to say. So if it's okay with you, I'd love for you to read us your acceptance speech. And like I said, we'll look forward to sharing this out.
Thank you, Scott. And I'd like to take the time to thank you for being there and supporting me. To look
Absolutely.
out
Wouldn't have missed it.
it was a pretty big highlight for me. And so thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. To believe in something that has changed your life and encouraged you to be your best is a gift. Appreciating that gift so much that you worked hard to share that inspiration to achieve support and awareness in return is success. I am the patient who benefited so much from my care, it changed my life. Physical therapy is the most important thing between point of injury and health. As a patient, your rehab matters. It's not just a 45-minute visit. It is a guidance to overcome and succeed to reach wellness and incorporate things in your life so you can be the best you can be. This award is a beautiful symbol of achieving my goals to give back to something that changed my life. I started raising money for student scholarships by using my own money to buy things and auction them off to give as a donation. I spread the word about my mission and encouraged everyone to give up a cup of coffee and support a student. This led to so many endeavors, which included in creating an online concert, submitting physical therapists for highlight on physicaltherapist.com, being featured on 3 podcasts, and building relationships with over 500 physical therapists from all over the country on social media. I would like to quote from a letter I received from CU Anschutz about my contributions. When you shared your story of personal triumph in the media and elsewhere, you built community awareness and improved our shared understanding of the physical therapy profession. You consistently put the CU physical therapy program students first. In doing so, you raised and personally contributed thousands of dollars in charitable gifts to the CU Foundation. Along with Colorado luminary Hazel Miller, you conceptualized and organized creative programs resulting in new support from stakeholders and donors from across the country. In challenging times, in periods of uncertainty, kindness bolsters the work of current CU staff and motivates the young minds of our students and for the many. A friend of mine at the program told me, your work will have an impact in so many ways for so many years. To leave such a footprint on something is an achievement that most people never achieve, and you have. My reward has been meeting so many wonderful people who supported my efforts and opened so many avenues to see and experience what I believe in so much. I can stand up here today and say I'm the lucky one. To believe in something and live your dream is amazing. To raise money for student scholarships and to personally see how your efforts change a student's life is hope. Through my care, I have had students who have benefited from scholarships work with me. I've seen their ambitions and hard work directly. I have experienced their stories of how they were recipients of scholarships and how it really impacted their ability to survive and achieve during their schooling. To work so many hours to change a life and experience the impact you had on something is one of the best things that ever happened to me. A patient, student, professor, clinician, provider, research, leadership, achievement, impact, inspiration, and togetherness. All these things and many more make the full circle of success in this profession. Thank you, Karen Lindsay. Thank you to the committee of the private practice section. Thank you, Hazel Miller and Dave Bruton. Thank you to my husband, John, and my niece, Shelley, for all your patience and love. And thank you truly to all of you. There it goes. That's my speech.
Well, I still get chills hearing it, and I was there live. So, like I said, thank you so much, Colleen, for all that you do for us, for again, sharing your story, because that's not easy. It's like I said, it's a time of vulnerability. It's not, it's not easy to talk about when you were down and out, when you were injured and trying to come back and unsure of what the future would hold. But again, you've done such a phenomenal job. You've really exemplified what it means to be a patient, especially a successful one in physical therapy. And we, again, can't thank you enough for that and for all that you do for the profession, for the students. And Hazel, it was great to meet her, and David, great to meet him as well. We can't thank you enough. Your efforts are not going unnoticed. Obviously, as you can tell from the award, we really do appreciate everything that you've done. Where can people reach out to you if they want to follow up with you or just see what you're up to and follow your story and what you've been up to these days?
Well, I'm on Twitter and social media, which my Twitter is Colleen Rapp 3. Facebook is Colleen Diane. I use my middle name. I basically on that platform, anybody is welcome to reach me. I can give you my email later. And if they want to reach out to you, and get a hold of me personally, that would be fine. I would like to add that I want to encourage physical therapists to any story or any patient that comes to you, please give them hope and give them an avenue. Avenues are really hard. They are really hard when you're a patient. I don't know what the answers are for that, but I'm working on it. And right now, I think that Scott, you and Karen Litzy and Jerry Durham are good avenues out there. And anybody who's listening to this, please, any patient or anybody that needs to tell a story, reach out to these three people and let them hear your stories. Let's get some more patients out there that have a voice, because the biggest thing that I want to work on the next few months, the next year, is giving a patient an avenue, because it's really hard. It really is hard to have an avenue, and that's my goal. So thank you, Scott.
Yeah, we'll like I said, we'll work on trying to get you guys a platform and a place to share your voice and your stories. Obviously, there's plenty of conferences out there. I think we're working on trying to incorporate more patient stories and more patient platforms at the conferences for sure. Podcasts obviously are a great way to get those stories out there. Like Colleen said, please reach out to myself or Jerry Durham, Karen Litzy, Jimmy McKay is another good one. Just big names out there that are doing big things, trying to really amplify voices that need to be heard. Because to me, that's advocacy. That to me is one way that you can advocate for yourself, for your patients, for your therapists, for the profession. It's just really great work. So we will put your social media links and handles in the show notes so people can reach out to you and follow what you're up to. And again, Colleen, absolute pleasure. It was so nice to be able to share that moment with you at the awards ceremony. And I look forward to our friendship over the years and seeing what you accomplished beyond this.
Thank you, Scott.